What if I told you that being happy has almost nothing to do with what happens to you? For the last 5 years, I've operated on one simple rule. Happiness is always there. You just have to stop looking at the stuff that makes you feel like crap. So today, I want to share the 5 truths that I personally live by. And these things have changed everything for me. And they've also worked for so many others as well. One of my past retreat graduates even told me that after implementing these 5 things, her current bad days now feel as good as her old good days used to feel, because her baseline happiness increased so much. So if you are ready to dramatically increase your baseline happiness too, you're ready to feel better no matter what goes on in the world, then you're in the right place. And let's jump in. Truth number 1 is that you will always find what you are looking for. If you get a seed in your head that you can't trust your partner, you will spend your days searching for proof that you can't trust them. If you have it in your head that the government is out to get you and is always making the wrong decisions, and I'm not saying they don't make any wrong decisions, but if you're convinced that they always make wrong decisions, then you will find those wrong decisions everywhere, even in good decisions. If you're convinced that your boss is horrible and always singles you out, then any time where they tell you off or give you a correction, you will use that as proof to confirm what you are looking for. But it also works the other way. And this has been a genuinely life-changing thing for me. And actually I came across it when I learned about the law of attraction and manifestation. And I kind of gave that a real good go for a year. And whether you believe in manifestation or not, there's a huge amount of science behind it. And that's where I found a lot of my learning and a lot of my real transformation from is in the science, and nothing too complex. Just the simple facts, which is honestly where a lot of the big changes lie. Not in the complex stuff, but in the simple truths. And so the simple truth that really implemented this for me is that scientifically, neurologically, and in terms of law of attraction, wherever your focus goes, energy flows.
Wherever focus goes, energy flows.
And that is due to your reticular activating system, which is around here at the base of your neck. And it's also been backed up by other things like the Tetris effect and law of attraction. The more you focus on something, the more you draw it to your attention, the more you see it. And your brain doesn't care whether what you're focusing on is something that feels good or something that feels bad. It doesn't really care. It just is kind of the servant to your focus. So if you know that your brain is servant to your focus, then pick your focus wisely. I personally, these days, pick my focus as things that make me feel good. I watch comedy because I know it makes me feel good. I put my focus on things I'm grateful for because I want more things that I'm grateful for. But if I'm focused on lack, which is absolutely what I used to be, then I will never feel like I've got enough. I will never feel like I'm in a fortunate position because my brain is hyperfixated, tunnel vision on the things I haven't got rather than the things that I do have. So to put it really, really simply, your brain is like a search engine or like a magnet, whatever metaphor works for you. And whatever you search for, it will give you the answers. It will give you the proof. It will give you the reasons why that thought, that suggestion, that idea is true. But your brain isn't always right. Truth number 2, nothing is bad until you decide that it is. And bear with me on this, because if this is new to you or you have been deep in self-victimization, then this is going to be really hard to hear, but it's okay. We're not being judgmental here. And I used to be in self-victimization headspace deeply in there. And I came round to this in my own time. And this video might be the time where you come around to it too. And rather than feeling blamed or judged for being in the headspace you have been previously, you hear this as a gateway to freedom, because that's what it is. Taking responsibility for how you feel can feel like a lot of pressure, but it's also so much freedom. And realizing that you get to choose, you get to decide what's good or bad is the biggest perk of our brain that we've ever been given. A flat tire is neither good nor bad. Let's look at it. A flat tire. Society will say that's bad. Why will it say that it's bad? It will say that it's bad because, well, it means you need to get a new tyre, which will be expensive. Hopefully you have insurance. You might be stranded on the side of the motorway for ages. You might actually end up being in a quite difficult or possibly even dangerous situation. It might be scary for all involved. You might have children with you. It might be raining. It might make you late for something. There is an abundance of reasons why having a flat tyre could be labelled as bad. But there's also reasons why it could be labelled as good. It might remind you to slow down. There might have been a crash that you would have been involved in further ahead. And so having this flat tyre took you off the road and meant that you couldn't be involved in that crash. You might actually meet the love of your life, who's the AA guy who's come to pick you up. I do not say that because I have personally ever fallen in love with an AA guy. I'm just saying it could happen. Maybe your child in the back of the car is feeling sick and actually you would have kept on driving. They could have puked everywhere, whereas you were forced to stop and they were able to either calm themselves or be sick on the side of the road. It increases your resilience. It's improving your car. There are so many reasons why this could be a good thing. You could end up at the tyre place and you meet somebody and it inspires in your son a desire to become an engineer. You might not know in the moment why it's a good thing, but that doesn't mean it's not a good thing. I remember that when I found out that my partner, who I honestly thought that I was going to be with for my entire life, I thought I was going to have my children with them. I thought we were going to live life together and get old together. And I was deeply in love with him. He was my best friend. He was everything. And we had a really exciting future ahead until I found out that throughout our relationship, he had not had the same loyalties as I had and had pretty much been acting single whilst I was acting a nun. And so that was incredibly, incredibly sad. And I really played the victim for a really long time. And because society tells you that you are the victim in that scenario, somebody has done something that is bad, I really saw that as bad. In movies, you see it happen and it's bad. It's a negative situation. And I didn't realize at the time that I could decide how I wanted to see it. And it's only with the matter of hindsight now that I can see just how incredible that situation was. I mean, it left me with PTSD. It led me to losing my job and losing my flat, losing a bunch of friends, losing my health and having to completely start over. But despite all of that, I would not be sat in front of this camera right now. I would not be running life-changing retreats for so many people who were in a similar scenario to me to completely change their lives. I would not feel such a sense of purpose and drive in my everyday to help other people become self-empowered, to realize they have a choice, if it hadn't have been for that heartbreaking experience 6 years ago. And so now, when something challenging happens, I don't see it as a bad thing. I had something that society would really describe as a bad thing back in summer. I would never have asked for it. I, right now, would not ask for it again. However, when it happened, rather than sinking into, why is this happening to me? This isn't fair. This is so ridiculous and not right, and I shouldn't be experiencing that. Those thoughts, what do they help you feel? Helplessness. They help you to feel like life is unfair. And that is a horrible state of mind to be in. I hate that thought. I hate the feeling of being helpless. I want to feel empowered, because feeling empowered feels freaking amazing. I don't want to feel sympathy for myself. I used to think sympathy was a lovely feeling until I discovered the feeling of self-empowerment. And boy, it's great. So instead of sinking into the victim mindset, I went ham on positivity. I really focused on how resilient this experience was going to make me. I focused on implementing systems to make sure that it didn't happen again and to really strengthen what I was doing. I really became extremely grateful for my awareness and what I'd learned about my brain, because evidently this individual was in so much pain that she wanted to cast that pain onto me. And I used to be in that place where I felt so much pain. I wanted my ex to experience it too. I know what that's like. And that is helplessness. It is that feeling of being so out of control. You don't know what else to do. So I was able to feel really grateful for how far I'd come. I was also so thankful to have people around me, and not just people around me, but it really allowed me to realize exactly what the people closest to me thought of me. Because the things that this individual was saying about me and accusing me of were not great things, were really unkind, very, very intense things that felt so against everything I was trying to do. And when the individuals closest to me saw what this individual was saying, they didn't for 1 second believe a word of it, because they know who I am and they know what I stand for. And without that instance, I would never have known. I would never have known that they stood by me so strongly and really got who I was as a person. And so that was a really wonderful thing during a really challenging time. So I give those examples so that you can really see that, like, I'm not talking about this from a really privileged place. God, I've been through really tough times. I have a family that is extremely complicated. I have experienced a lot of mental health challenges myself in the past. I've had toxic employers. I've lost my home. I've lost my job. I've experienced a huge amount of loss and sadness. But that's exactly why I am so grateful for these 5 rules, these 5 things, these 5 truths that I now live by. Because I realize that life doesn't have to be different for me to feel different. The only thing that has to be different is how I'm thinking about things. And so this is my gift to you for 2026. Watch this video, listen to this podcast as much as you need to really let this sink in. Okay, so number 3, challenging feelings, if you want to call them negative, you can do, but they're actually not intrinsically negative. They're just uncomfortable, and I think that's why we label them as negative, because in reality, when you feel something that's not very comfortable, maybe that's anxiety or guilt or fear or panic or anger, those emotions are nothing more than signals. It goes back to when we lived in the wild. Well, I guess everywhere was the wild, but then we didn't have roofs above our head. We didn't have shops down the road. And so we were really in fight or flight. We were in survival mode all the time because we had to be. And so if we saw a saber-toothed tiger, if we didn't feel panic or fear, we'd just stand there and be like, oh, what a cute kitty. It looks so soft. Let me touch it. But we all know what would happen if we did that. Not good things. And so we experienced fear and panic so that we'd have an indicator as to what to do in that situation. And so we'd either fight, although I'm not sure you'd win against a saber-toothed tiger, or you'd run, which again, I also am not sure you would win. But it was better than just standing still. Unless you're Arthur from Arthur Christmas, who decides to play his slipper music to the tigers in the middle of Africa. If you know the reference, you know the reference. Great film. But if you're watching this and you're female, time of the month, you feel moody. For me, I go quiet the week before the time of the month. I need more personal space. I struggle to find topics for conversation. My personality and my enthusiasm just really changes. And that's not that there's anything wrong with life. It's that my hormones are shifting. That's just it. Just like when you don't feel well and you just want to get under the duvet and snuggle up because you're all shivery or burning up. It's not because life has something wrong with it. It's because internally your body is trying to fix itself. It's not well. It's trying to flush out whatever is wrong with you. And so how we feel is either, yes, a product of what we're thinking, or a product of something that's happening inside of us, hormones, or if you have something like borderline personality disorder or bipolar, the chemicals in your brain are literally shifting that results in those changes in feeling. However, often with those disorders, our brain convinces us that it's something external to us that is leading us to feel that way. But the trick is in recognizing that your feelings start within you. And that means that you can work with them. When you recognize that, you can rather than jump to blame someone else, think, what is this a signal of? What do I need right now? Do I need to be alone? Do I need to take some paracetamol? Do I need to go and speak to my doctor to see if there's something that would maybe regulate me more or help to stabilize the chemical shifts in my brain? You have the remote, you have the controller to your mind. It's just a case of trying to use it. So if we flip this from physical symptoms, if you feel anxious, it's your brain giving you the signal that you are thinking something that causes anxious feelings. For instance, if I was to sit here and start thinking about how someone could break into my house tonight, I'm going to start feeling anxious. And my brain's going to start looking out for sounds and things that make me feel like that could happen. But if I start thinking about how I'm looking forward to my dinner and snuggling up on the sofa and watching some Bridgerton, I feel freaking cozy, I feel wholesome, I feel excited, and endorphins are now running through my brain, rather than when I was thinking the anxiety-inducing thought, I was pumping cortisol, the stress hormone. So, to summarize, stop seeing your feelings and your emotions as the result of something external and recognize that it is always the result of what's happening in here or in here. Number 4, you do not need a reason to feel good. I know that sounds ludicrous, but you can feel happy right this very second without anything around you changing. Most people think that they need to win something, win the lottery, go on holiday, or be complimented in order to feel happy and to feel good. But you can just decide that you want to feel good right now because feeling good is better than the alternative of feeling bad. Feeling bad makes you feel bad, and feeling good makes you feel good. I know that's so obvious, but we forget that we have the choice. And yes, there are things that can help you with this. Visualization is a great tool. When I was learning this and I would start feeling stressed about something, I would go to a forest in my mind. A forest is my idea of a safe space. And at the time I lived in the middle of London, and so I couldn't just go to a forest. And so I learnt to go there in my mind. Not because I'm a lunatic, not because I believe that by going in my mind I'm actually there, but because my brain doesn't know the difference between a thought and a fact. And so if I can visualize myself in a forest, and I'm doing it right now, I feel grounded. I feel calm. I feel more at peace, which is often a lot better than imagining yourself in a really stressful environment. Alternatively, gratitude is a great way of making yourself feel good in the moment. If you find that you are so consumed by lack and you're focusing on what you don't have, you're picking up your phone all the time and you're like, why haven't they messaged me back yet? Does he still like me? Are they leaving me out of plans? Rather than focusing on where life isn't going the way you want, you can make yourself feel good right now just by going on a rampage of appreciation. And Abraham Hicks is a brilliant person if you want to listen to a rampage of appreciation. But if you know that there's something that you want, like let's go back to the forest example. There was a time where I would go online and I would go onto the website Woods for Sale. Yes, that is with the number 4, and that does actually exist. And I would scroll through the different forests that were for sale with the idea of, oh, if I buy one of these, I will then be able to go and feel calm whenever I want. But if I think about that, what is the thing that I want from the forest? To feel calm, to feel grounded, to feel peaceful. So what right now can I focus on that helps me to feel feelings of peace, of safety, of groundedness, of calm? Well, I can think about the fact that there's a storm outside and I'm really cozy inside. I can think about how my sofa or this chair is really comfy. I can think about how it feels to be wrapped in my partner's arms, feeling so safe. I can think about getting into bed tonight and rolling over all cozy in my blanket. I can think about all of the things that I've achieved today that makes me feel accomplished and proud of myself and calm in the sense that I've got enough done. So whatever it is that you want, that you think is going to make you happy, ask yourself what the feelings are that you want from that, what you think it's going to lead you to have, and then see what you can think about, what you can focus on right now, what you can do right now that helps you to feel those feelings, because you don't need the thing to feel that way. You just need to access the feeling, and you don't need the thing for that. Game changing. Okay, and lastly, because my SD card only has 4 minutes left, do not turn a bad moment into a bad day. Usually when we describe a day as being bad, it's not because the day was bad in its entirety. It's just that one thing happened and you allowed it to convince you that the entire day was bad. But it's rarely the case. Someone can say something mean to you and it only takes 10 seconds to say. But if you're still mad about it or letting it affect you 6 hours later, you are the one making the day bad, not the person that said the unkind thing. And the more you practice this, the quicker you can get over stuff. And this isn't to say that you don't stand up for yourself and you should never get affected by anything, but it's recognizing that being affected by it is a choice, even if you don't want to admit it. And understanding why you feel the way you do about something, why certain things trigger you, can allow you to learn a lot about what you value. It can allow you to learn a lot about yourself and allow you to learn about what you need to improve on, what areas you still have that can be worked on, which is a great blessing and a sign of someone who is truly emotionally intelligent and self-aware, to be able to look at your flaws, to look at the areas where you could be better, and then to do something about it. So stop letting small things affect your day. Recognize it in the moment that it's affecting you and journal about it. Get a notebook out, scribble it down. I knew a guy who came to one of my retreats, and his way of journaling was to just write the word he was feeling, like angry, down in the middle of the page, and then another word like disappointed. And gradually the words would help him calm down and discover the root of why he was angry in the first place. So however you want to do it, voice note, go for a walk, listen to music, whatever you need to do to become aware of how you're feeling as quick as possible and to feel more in control of your reaction rather than the servant of it, means the quicker you will get over it. You will find an alternative perspective. You will feel happier. And that is what this is all about. It's the only reason why you do anything, the only reason you want a partner, the only reason you want nice clothes, the only reason you want to be prettier, slimmer, more muscly, the only reason you want to go on holiday is because of the feelings you think it will give you. So give yourself those feelings now. Anyway, that is it for today's episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you will go away and implement some of these things. Really, they have completely changed my life. Like, I'm giving you my secrets here. And so use them wisely or send them to someone who could do with this. And all that is left to say is, I appreciate you.